Sus School Stories. Steve Asterisk, my friend John's older brother, was dating a sister. Their mother always sent John along as the chaperone when Steve would drive the sister home. One time I tagged along. When we got to the sister's house, Steve turned around and said, "Go to sleep now." We both had to lie there in the back seat with our eyes closed, pretending to be asleep while they did God knows what up there. This was a regular occurrence for John. Asterisk names have been changed. I got naughty stories out the wazoo. Me and my first ex would constantly have oral sex when dating, which a lot of people have done here, I'm assuming. But we would do it in places to get a thrill. I'd go to her house early in the morning, and we'd do it while her family was there sleeping still, or in the bathroom at my family's house. She was a pioneer at the time, too. We ended up going to the elders after we got married, and we didn't even get in trouble for it. Just some counsel, and that was it. Friends of mine would get hotels and go have sex with their girlfriends. I knew of an elder that had threesomes with a younger sister in the hall and his wife. He got DFD eventually. He used his position as an elder to see which people were all sexual and used it to his advantage. There's a few more, but don't want to give away identities. When I was in year 8 and at school we were going to year 8 camp, a girl asked me to comfort her, so I did nong sexually, then I fell asleep since. We were at the back where only me and my friends were there. To my friends said to her, "Sit on him," she said, "Will he be made?" My friends said at a woman, "No, she did." I woke up and saw both my and her pants were down, and it was rock hard the whole time. My phone accidentally recorded it all on my phone, and I was pissed at my friends. Basically, there was this one girl and another guy, so they used to like each other. They were about 16 BTW, then they started to be close to each other. Then one random day, a ordinary student was standing in front of them and saw them go to the bathroom together. Then she heard the girl moan ... Then she knocked on the bathroom door and asked, "What are you guys doing?" Then they said, "None of your business, go to your class ... Disclaimer. And this is a real story from my friend's old school. I was in year 7, and I found out a bunch of year 10 were taking pictures of this year 8 teacher's ass and boobs and making AI porn with her pics, and one of my friend's brothers were a part of it. Then one time they got caught and got expelled, and my friend's brothers got expelled, and my friend had to leave the school and join CBC. I heard someone in 6th grade at the middle school next door got pregnant. I also heard some kids did it in the elevator. Might be the same kids. IDK.O this was a complete accident, so it can't be incriminating, but I saw the right boob of a girl in the grade below me. She was sitting next to me in I's academic intervention services at the history table. She was braless and her button-up shirt was unbuttoned. I thought about telling her, but I was going absolutely insane because it was my first time seeing one in real life, so I didn't tell her. I didn't see her at a point where I usually did later that day, so I assume she found out and went home, hopefully out of embarrassment. One of the students' favorite gym teachers, male, used to coach the girls' softball team. I always thought it was weird admin allowed that and didn't hire a woman to do it. This year, I hadn't seen him in a while. I found out he was fired for allegedly touching them inappropriately, groping, I would guess. Or maybe squeezing or something. He's got a wife and his firstborn is about a year old at this point. He allegedly spends most of his time at the bar now due to developing an alcohol addiction. I also heard he looks like trash, which is crazy to think because he is young and was always so good looking. I'm straight, not blind. That being said, every man everywhere is attracted to Ryan Reynolds. If you say no, you're lying. When I was in 6th grade, I tried to access a porn site from my school-issued Chromebook. This was before I had a phone. I feel like I'm going too far and I don't want to reveal anything more, so yeah, LMK, what you'll think of everything, I guess. So I had this animal-loving classmate Daniel. This happened in 4th grade while everyone else was eating their lunch. He brought literally bugs to school, and he said they needed to be loved more. He keep doing this. I told him to stop. He said that I probably hated animals in reality. I didn't. I just hated bugs. In 5th grade, he got worse instead of the pets he keep. Talking like, bro, shut the F***ck up. But he was so annoying that he started to get called the weird kid. I one day was picking up some mail from my dad's house, and at the end of the block there's a group of girls that were talking and whispering, and one of them walked towards me while I was talking to my dad in front of the house. She asked if she can use my phone to call her friend to pick her up because their phone died. I let them use the phone, and when she finished the conversation, she gave me back the phone with a wink. It was 2 sisters and her friend, so 3 girls. As I get in the car to drive off, they say bye, Papi Chulo. I hit reverse and asked them if they wanted a ride instead. They said yes, and they all hop in my car, and they wanted to come to my place, and I brought them over and had drinks with them at home. And next thing you know, the sisters walk out to smoke outside my apartment. I was left alone with one of the girls, and she jumped on me and started kissing me. She put my hands and fingers inside her pants and fingering her. I can see she's so wet. The other sisters just show up out of nowhere, and I had one of the sisters blowing me, the other sat on my face, and the other was licking her pussy. We took things to the bathroom. I start putting one of the sisters in 4 and doing her doggy, and her sister goes under my balls and starts sucking my balls and pulls out my dong and sucks it. I was in shock and turned on. They all took turns, and it was by far my best experience ever. The only problem was that one of them left me a hickey, and I wasn't a huge fan of them, but it felt good, so I let it slide. Both sisters were making out while their friend was writing me. It came a point that the sisters were doing 69 while I did doggy to the other sisters. Shit was so hot. I'll tell you a dirty story then. Okay, you're at a strip club on a Tuesday night, and there's a girl there just watching, and she's hotter than all the strippers. She's into it. She loves it. And then she sees you and looks into your soul and says, I don't usually do this kind of thing. But she invites you out to her car and gives you a private show. Yeah, the radio is playing old county songs, and she straddles your lap in the passenger seat and begins grinding against you. And her face is getting red because she's a little embarrassed, but she keeps riding you until the song stops. And then there's a pause, and the host says something about a charity 5K. The two of you lock eyes, and for a moment, you really see each other. And then she starts kissing you, and everything smells like cheap perfume and sex and old car. Another song starts to play, and she's got her tongue in your mouth. She's got your lips in her teeth, her hands in your hair. The parking lot is dark, but the neon signs from the strip club provide just enough light for you to see the sparkle in her eyes. And then she starts to unzip your pants. Kinda fast, like she might not really mean it. For a minute there it's just you and her lips and her hand. Just when you think it's almost over, she stops. How far do you want to go? She asks. Her voice is an unsmoked cigarette. She pulls her panties to the side, and things keep on going farther, all the while leaving little bite marks on your neck. Bite marks you'll have to explain away in the morning, but right now all you can feel is her moving against you. The radio fades into the distance, her breath becoming the soundtrack. And God, you're close. You're so close. For just a moment, nothing else exists. Just this sensation between you and this stranger on any random night. Just this magic of the universe. Everything comes together then. And you groan and she moans, and then it's over. And she straightens her skirt. You sit below her for a moment longer. An advertisement for chewing gum plays on the radio. You open the passenger door. She gets out, and you get out. and you both think about saying something, but neither of you do. She gets back into her car, the driver's seat. This time, you don't lock eyes again. You walk to the side of the building and pull out a cigarette from your pocket. She drives away. That's the end of it. So tomorrow you'll tell your wife that the bites on your neck must be a rash and she won't believe you. She takes the kid and goes to her mom's. You'll be too hungover to care. She won't leave for good anyway, though part of you will wish she would. Thanks for the thought-out critique. I have not seen it, though I have read some of his other novels. It's an interesting note about King seeing himself in the character. I think it should be noted that I am a woman, and not a particularly sexual one at that. So, yes, the bravado is false. Good catch. I was wondering how that would come across. I wrote this last night in a few minutes for the prompt Write a Sexy Story. Not something I would normally do, but hey, why not challenge myself? Perhaps that's where the vulnerability is, in writing and posting something out of my comfort zone. But I do agree, it is lacking from the narrative. If I were to revise this piece, that would definitely be something I keep in mind. Have you ever seen the 80s movie Stand By Me? If not, you may not know that it's based on a novella by Stephen King called The Body. It's a great movie, might be one of those movies that's better than the book, although it's very true to the book. The biggest difference is that Chapter 7 and 8 are removed in their entirety. The main character, Gordy Lachance, is basically a stand-in for Stephen King at 12. King loves inserting himself into his books. There's always a character who's a writer. In this case, grown-up writer Gordon Lachance is narrating a story of the time he and his friends went to see a dead body, but all of that is totally irrelevant to what I'm trying to say to you about this poem. What I wanted to say, instead, has to do with those two chapters cut from the movie in Chapter 7, kind of abruptly. There's a short story inserted into the book called Stud City. It's about an angry kid sleeping with his girlfriend, fighting with his dad, and then taking off into the night to summarize. Chapter 8 then critiques the work. King talks about how it's not great when he looks back on it, but it had elements in it that were true to him. He says, through the main character, that it was the first story where he really saw himself in it. There was still a lot of fantasy in his fiction. Notably, he wasn't nearly as sexually confident as his main character, and he felt that his inexperience was evident by overcompensation. What he loved about it, though, was that behind the fiction and the fantasy, he had successfully put himself into the story in a vulnerable way. He says the following: "No, it's not a very good story. Its author was too busy listening to other voices to listen as closely as he should have to the one coming from inside. But it was the first time I had ever really used the places I knew and the things I felt in a piece of fiction. And there was a kind of dreadful exhilaration in seeing things that had bothered me for years come out in a new form. A form over which I had imposed control, if I'm being brutally honest. I feel like there's overcompensation here, an abundance of bravado that hedges back from the true vulnerable thing you're trying to say. It's like when you see a young dad riding on the Ferris wheel with his baby, stone-faced, arms crossed, trying to look tough as goes up and down and around, on a pink pony, and the absurdity of maintaining. That posture undercuts the sweetness of a dad who loves his child enough to be a bit ridiculous and just. Own it. I think this is good and no mistaking it. You have talent, but I wonder how this poem would play if it was a little less sexy and a little more vulnerable. I wonder if the women would be more human, less objectified, if we could see more vulnerability in the narrator. I wonder if the narrator would be a little more likable if he felt something more than base predatory physical gratification-y. Do you really like to read the version of this poem that digs a little bit deeper into the marrow of the human beings in it?